Jim O'Donnell. I work with Zooniverse in Oxford. Zooniverse, as you may know, started 9 years ago with Galaxy Zoo. It was a project that started with someone's PhD thesis, where his PhD student was looking for very rare galaxies in a survey known as the Sloan Digital Sky Survey, and realised that even if he spent, I think, his entire lifetime looking at every single plate of the SDSS, he still wasn't going to find enough galaxies to justify his PhD. So a website was built that essentially showed people a picture of a galaxy and asked them to classify it. And it was amazingly successful, particularly after it was on the BBC. So kind of discovered that if you give people a rewarding task with a clear aim and a knowledge that they're contributing to something, that they're helping in science, then they will happily give you their time, and they will sit and they will classify galaxies, or they will look at photographs of the Serengeti and identify animals. As long as they know that what they're doing is useful, and they get some feedback that says what you're doing is useful. We're grant funded. I'm funded off a AHRC grant at the moment called Constructing Scientific Communities, which aims to look at the parallels between networks of amateur scientists that exist in the 19th century and the sort of networks that people like Zooniverse are building at the moment, with essentially, networks of amateur scientists working on science projects there. We've dipped our toe in the past into crowdfunding. One season of Snapshot Serengeti was crowdfunded because the grant for that was pulled. I think it was an NSF grant. And we ran an Indiegogo campaign to raise $36,000, which did work, but we felt very uncomfortable afterwards. We're not experts. I think what we discovered is that we're good at citizen science. We've learned a lot. We are scientists. We're academics. We know a lot about doing academic research, a lot about motivating people to do science. We know nothing at all about raising money, really. So I think, it was interesting to hear the talk from what happens earlier. If you're going to do crowdfunding, I think you really need to be like experts, or employ people who know about crowdfunding. Don't try and do it yourself if you're as an amateur. So I'm not going to talk so much about the funding because we don't know much about that. But science. I brought some slides which I'll give this afternoon about we've done a lot of research about our audience, about the crowd. We know a lot about the 1.4 million people who've registered over the years for Zooniverse, like who they are, what they like to do, what they don't like to do. I think it was interesting actually to hear earlier somebody mentioned tasks that fit into busy lives. Is that the National Trust mentioned that? There's a paper last year called Designing for Dabblers, which looked at old weather. And something like 90 to 95% of the people who come and work on old weather, and by extension I think any other site, they'll come and work for like 10 minutes and they'll go away. And then they'll come back when they've got 10 minutes to spare, somewhere else. If you are designing like a crowdsourcing task or a crowdsourcing site, think about the fact that you'll have this small core of volunteers who are willing to come and dedicate like large amounts of their time to help you. But then you've got this like huge long tail of people who just come and just do a little bit here, a little bit there. And so nice little atomic tasks that they can do without feeling like they have to sit down and spend hours.
Just copy it.
Okay. Questions?